live guest on a podcast called J is for Justice.
I think there's just hope that she returns no matter what. Oh my God, that's Megan's house. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then...
Wait a second, you guys. We have breaking news. All of a sudden in the chat, there was breaking news that there was a raid going on in Houston, Texas. It may be connected to a high-profile case.
That's her best friend. She would not be there.
Hey guys, and welcome to J is for Justice. Hope everybody's doing well. I see we have about 500 people here already. Welcome, welcome. Just a little announcement before we start. This is a members only chat tonight. So the mods will be putting the link. If you would like to join in on the chat, you can go ahead and become a member. I've done that not only for the integrity of my channel, but for the respect of my guest. And tonight I have Angie, who has joined myself and Melissa B. She knows Suzanne and Barry. She knows Barry better than Suzanne. Goes way back. I'm going to let her tell her story. But I do want to preface this live. I've seen a lot of comments that have been made. And I do want to preface this by saying we are not confirming anything. We're not law enforcement. What we're doing is we're piecing together the information that has been given. And Angie has received information from friends in Colorado. I consider her to be a very reliable source. And that is why my live did not come down from yesterday, because Angie is the one that, you know, let us know this information. And she's here to, you know, to talk about that. There's no hiding. There's no secrets. There's no secret source. There's no conspiracy. There's no fake news. This is coming straight from Suzanne's friends. And I want to preface this by saying in no way are we saying that this is actual facts. What we're saying is this is what we are hearing from friends. So I hope that makes this abundantly clear for the people in the back that want to leave negative comments. I don't understand it, because we all are true crime followers. We all piece together cases every day. Every day we do this. I'm doing it live. I'm doing it with people who know them. And I expect to have my guests respected for that. And it's really sad that I had to put it on members only, because we are all adults. But unfortunately, we don't all act like them. So with that being said, I want to welcome Melissa B. back to the panel. How's it going? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to Angie. Angie, you there? I am doing great. It's nice to talk to you. And I want to say that I appreciate you, you know, being willing to come on and talk about this information that you've received and kind of, you know, settle all these rumors that are going around about this information. So I applaud you for that, and welcome to my channel. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Sorry. I muted them so they could chit chat. Okay. Angie, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. Let's try this again. No, I do. I applaud you a lot for being willing to come on and talk about this information that, you know, was discussed yesterday. And I want to kind of give you the floor to kind of talk about that and set your feelings out there.
Well, I mean, the whole premise of this whole crime watch or investigation thing with all of us is to find the answers. And we're all going to grasp where we can. And if I have somebody that's going to give me some type of reliable information from Colorado, from possibly a police officer or an investigator, and they tell it to me, you know, I feel like that's kind of some valuable information. And that's something that possibly I shared yesterday, maybe a little bit immaturely, because it wasn't confirmed by the police. And therefore it was taken in a different way, because I would never want to hurt the families, period.
Right.
Either one of them.
Right. You have no
The-
vendetta against them. You have no ill will
Absolutely.
towards either one of them. And I want you to kind of take us back. How do you know them? Where did this all start?
Well,
Taking
we
you
had the
taking you a little far back, but I get
well, I'm
it.
telling you, yes. I mean, I think that 95% of our class from Alexandria Monroe schools had a crush on Barry Morphew. Yeah, he was the person that you had a crush on in middle school, high school, and even elementary.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of those people that was a little bit timid and quiet at the beginning. And then as he got older, he became a little bit more cocky and the jock and still quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But, we always liked his smile. We liked his attitude. He was
Sure.
a hard player, he was a good guy. And Suzanne was 3 years younger than us and a sweetheart of a person. And, like all these years have gone by through our school years. But then, you go back to your reunions and you can't wait to see that person. And I mean, when they walked in the room, it was like, oh, there they are, and they had that from that whole facade of like this perfect life. And
Here they
we
are
all
still
dreamed.
together after all these years.
Yeah.
High school sweethearts.
Yes. And you dream to have that.
Yeah.
And, they're traveling and they're doing this and they're successful, because we stumble sometimes in life and we don't have that little perfect, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's marriage or what, because obviously it's not perfect now. But, Barry was a good guy. And that's what shocks me about this whole thing. However, I saw a side of him on that video that it melted my heart in a way that I haven't seen him ever in my whole life. And I've known him a long time. And there was just a disingenuine face when he was asking for her return. And I felt it in my heart and soul. So that's when I kind of buried myself into this whole case. And I started taking everything in. And it's been time consuming for me. And I hate to say that, but it's because I care. It's awful. Those girls don't deserve this.
It hits really close to home. Yeah.
Yeah. I would hate to have something like that happen.
So did Angie grow up in, what's the name in Alexandria? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Alexandria, Indiana.
Okay. So both of them went to the same schools from elementary, middle school to high school. Was that a small town growing up?
Very small. It's actually called Small Town, USA.
Really? Okay. I guess it is small.
Now, is that how they met, through school or through a mutual friend?
Yes. And then they ended up going to college together at Purdue.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So they
Did you ever hang out with them together as a couple? Like go out, hang out at
parties or what?
I was the band geek and they were the popular kids.
So you didn't go to any parties with them?
We met. We didn't go in the same car, but you would go to the parties and say hi, or the bonfires and say hi.
Yeah.
After school, or after the homecoming dance, hi, yes. And he
and they just always seemed happy and a great couple, and never any fighting.
I didn't see any fighting. Like, they didn't start really dating, I don't think, seriously until junior or senior year, because Barry dated one of my good friends that I was really good friends with. Probably freshman and sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on and off. They dated a while. So, but they always seemed very happy. And the last time I saw them was 4 years ago at our 30th. And our 30th reunion from high school graduation. And they seemed perfectly happy. Perfectly happy.
So do you still talk to people from high school, and do you guys have any little groups or anything? That I know everybody used to be on Classmates, but that's kind of a thing of the past. But
yes, they try to get together at least every 6 months around here, if not even more. I think that the people who live a little bit more local in town and work together, they get together maybe a little bit more often. But we try to have, like, say, a kayaking trip or a barbecue or something, at least every 6 months. which is nice.
Mm-hmm. So they lived there up until 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
When they moved to Colorado. So are you still in the area where you grew up?
Yeah. Well, I'm about 15 minutes away.
Okay. So did you run into them occasionally and things like that, like in town? And
well, Arcadia is a little bit more north.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't ran into them or seen them since our reunion 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. So did you hear that they had moved then?
Yes. And actually they were talking about it at the reunion that they were going to be moving and building
okay.
a place out there or buying a house out there. Yes.
What was their reasoning for moving to Colorado?
From what I understand, it was because their daughters were graduating. One was in college out in Colorado, and that they were going to retire out there. And they're both athletic and outdoorsy people. He's an avid hunter. Like he's been all over the world to hunt.
Mm.
He's been to Africa, big hunting. And I just took it as that was perfect place for him and her because she's so athletic as well, because she's in very good shape. And she enjoys working out, mountain biking.
Yeah, you can tell she's in good shape.
Yeah. So
They both are.
Yeah, very much so.
I just had a couple more questions bringing back to, how they grew up. Did either one of them come from money? Were they wealthy families? What was their their social status?
Well, I think that his parents were smart business people.
Okay.
And they've always kind of they've never struggled. At least I have never seen the struggle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
They were farmers, correct?
Yeah, they were farmers. And then I'm not sure what his mom did, if she was just a housewife or not. But I think they owned the root beer stand too here in town or in Anderson. I could be wrong about that.
I think it's Suzanne's family. Her brother now owns Suzanne. Yeah.
Root beers and hot dog. Yes, root beers. Yeah. And you know what? That brings in lots of money right there.
Mm.
But Suzanne is she comes from a good family as well, where she's married into a family that one of them was a doctor.
Mm. Her dad was a physician, I believe.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how was his family dynamics like growing up? Or like, were they strict? Were they, anything seemed off or anything?
Bless them. Angie, it's all good. We're live.
Jesus.
Someone's got some allergies. Bless him.
Yeah, we need to, don't we?
Tell him that everybody at J is for Justice said bless you.
Yeah, it's okay, buddy.
I love live streams.
Don't you love it?
I do. I do. I love it.
Their dynamic was great. I mean, it came from
normal
a good family
yeah.
on both sides. Very respectful, well dressed. It's not white trashy, and I hate to use that word technically, but I mean, you know how it is. You come from upper middle class, or you come from the lower middle class, or you come from the trash.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, that's a lot of people are labeled. A lot of people are labeled that way.
I hate to even say that, but he came from a very good family, the same as I did.
So.
Go in the fucking bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Get rid of one kid and I got another one and he's 42.
Someone said it sounds like their father-in-law sneezing. Oh my gosh. Okay. So back to their upbringing. What was the other question I had? Everybody in chat's cracking up. I had a question about, it was their social status, like what was their family was just like the good old American family, right? Like mom, dad were married, no divorce. They were,
Well, I mean, Suzanne's family was divorced.
oh, okay. So she had a stepdad or whatever.
Yes, yes.
Okay. That stepdad is the physician. Stepdad is the physician, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so all intents and purposes, normal upbringing. When they were in high school and they started dating, was Barry like the loyal kind of guy, or was he kind of the flirty kind of guy that what was he like? Was it known that those two were just a couple and he didn't flirt or anything like that? You said he's kind of quiet.
Even before they started dating, Barry was kind of a little bit of a womanizer.
Oh, okay. Kind of cocky.
Very cocky.
Very
he had
cocky.
a huge ego. Yes. The older he got and the more good looking he got, the cockier he got.
Mm-hmm. Then he was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes. And then the ego really hit in with money and the good looks and the success. And boom. There you go.
Okay, so he didn't do that. He was choosing between college at Central Michigan.
Yep.
And he ended up going to Purdue. He didn't do either.
That's correct.
Do we know why? Do we know why he chose the route that he did and then ultimately ended up owning a landscape business there?
I know, isn't that crazy?
Right. I mean, I just wonder what transpired in his life at that time. It's odd. I read an article.
Right. At that time in my life, I wasn't really in town here per se, because I was already in New Jersey doing my thing, being a nanny and exploring life. But yeah, I couldn't believe he didn't take that. He loved baseball. Out of all the sports, baseball was it.
Yeah, I wonder what made him not choose that route. It's interesting. So his landscaping company, do you have any idea how large it was? How big of a business was that?
From what I understand, he was on some pretty big jobs, even in Indianapolis, that had maybe 10 to 15 people that were working at one time. So that's a pretty big deal for them,
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a huge company, but he did commercial jobs. He was
correct.
a commercial landscaper.
Right.
So I understand he went to Purdue and he got a degree in horticulture. So he probably did the designing, maybe.
Right. I think you're right.
Yeah. So and then he had his laborers that would do work. So I did interview a man named John Schmitz, and I'm sure you've heard of him. He talked about his encounter with Barry and the rage. He just described it straight up as rage. And you mentioned when we were talking before the show that a lot of people from high school just can't believe that he would ever do anything to Suzanne. And then, you have these people that have had encounters with him that have seen this rage. And then you talk about the video where he's asking for her back and you say his demeanor is just off. Like that's not him. So it seems like her husband could have, I don't know, some kind of anger issues or something. Cause I mean, that's like night and day, from the quiet kid to these episodes of rage that seem kind of inappropriate, inappropriately placed anger, I guess.
He just probably knew how to mask it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And just had a different persona on, to others on social media. And I mean, it happens.
Yeah. Oh, it
behind
sure does.
closed doors. We don't know what happens behind closed doors.
It sure does.
Like just recently, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that he actually joined Facebook. And we were like, oh, welcome. And I was trying to find that video, Melissa, that I had tagged him in when I had seen him and another classmate go. He had gone out to Colorado to go hunting with Barry and see his new place and all that. And I mean, I enjoyed looking at them, four-wheeling up in the mountains in the dark and, sleeping out on the hillside and seeing all the views. And I thought, this is great. So when I saw this video, a funny video of two guys hunting or something or up in a tree stand, I tagged my two friends, and one of them being Barry. And the next thing I know, I tagged him. I'm like, I could see you guys doing this. It wasn't anything inappropriate or disgusting. It was just funny. And my other friend kept his tag on, but Barry immediately untagged himself. And I thought, that's weird. I've known you for all this time, dude, and you're going to do, like, why are you going to do that to me? Like, I don't care, but why put up a Facebook page if you don't want people to show the socialism that we have right now on the internet, to be able to explore our friendships and, give you a little bit of funny, I thought that was really weird. And that was a couple months ago, maybe 3 months. Just thought it was weird because we've always been very cordial and close and kind to each other because of our experiences in life. We've lost some people along the way and been to funerals together, like,
Right. I mean,
I'm not out to hurt you.
how many people were in your graduating class?
Oh gosh. I think it was less than 200. It was small.
Yeah, that's the same for me. So I can imagine. I mean, everybody knew everybody.
Yeah,
so I totally
we
get
all
it.
knew each other.
Totally
That's why
get it.
it's so hard for my class right now to comprehend the fact that he's done anything wrong. They don't see that. And the thing of it is like, it's mind-boggling to me because if you can't read the facts and understand what's going on right now and how awkward it is, and the fact that those girls weren't even there Mother's Day and you weren't either, there's something way off.
Yeah.
Way off.
So before we get to that, because I do have questions, because I know you have a little bit of information on that whole weekend thing. But before we get to that, I want to ask you, when did you hear about Suzanne being missing, and what were your initial thoughts? Like, take me back to when you first found out and what you were thinking.
The crazy part is like the Friday before Mother's Day, I was, I've been quarantined by myself most of the time. And I was on my Facebook and I kept seeing Suzanne pop up as a friend. This is a friend that you could be interested in. And I thought, I'm going to send her a friend request. Hopefully she'll remember me. Because like when you're out of sight, out of mind, people don't remember.
Sure.
And we had 75 friends in common. And so she was heavy on my heart that night because, I kept looking at her pictures going, man, she's a lucky woman. She's a lucky woman. This is the Friday before. And I sent her a request. I woke up on Monday morning and I saw the post and my heart sank. And my first instinct was, something is odd about this. Something is not right.
Mm-hmm.
My first instinct was not to think, oh my God, Barry killed her.
Mm-hmm.
No, but then when the facts started coming in, that's when my doubts and my heart even sank even more.
Mm-hmm. So I want to walk through the facts that you've gotten in your circle, or where you're getting your information from out there. What was the first things that you heard that kind of made you think, something might have gone on between Barry and Suzanne here?
I think one of the first things that was a red flag was that the girls weren't living at home. When you have a 16-year-old girl that's not living at home and the kids were off camping and he was off in Denver, it just seemed very odd to me because of the closeness that they showed whenever they were together. And there you are on Mother's Day all by yourself. That was just odd to me. Okay, so that kind of started the whole thing. Then people kind of started throwing in the Mistress thing. And then the names started coming out. So I started taking that as a grain of salt.
Now with the camping
trying to go
trip,
back.
with the camping trip,
Yes.
did the girls go on their own accord, or did like Barry or Suzanne have them go camping?
From what I understand, it was him that planned it for them to leave like May the 1st or something around that time.
And they went camping to a friend's in Utah.
Yeah.
Right. So they were gone for about a week.
Yes.
And came home on Mother's Day.
That's correct.
Now, okay, so that was the first kind of red flag, was like, wow, why is he gone? So what we've heard several things about where he was supposed to be or what he was doing on Mother's Day weekend, right? The lift on the Corona stay-at-home order had been lifted, I believe, May 8th in Colorado.
Okay.
May 8th. It's either the 4th or the 8th, but I'm pretty sure it was the 8th. So here we have, I'm thinking May 8th. That's when they started asking for the footage from all the surrounding homes, right? The cops wanted May 8th to the 12th. Yeah. So I'm keeping all these dates in my head as I go through it. But to go back to the May, I don't know. I lost my train of thought now.
That's okay.
I'm all over the place with my, I know.
I
got a million things going through my head.
I think on Mother's Day is, the girls came home and noticed, their mother wasn't home. So this probably could have happened days before Mother's Day. That, whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Oh, we were talking about the Denver thing. So I've heard that he's gone to Denver for some kind of firefighter training, that was what he was supposed to be doing, training. Then I saw another thing, and it was an actual post from, I don't know, in a venue where this was supposed to be held, and it was a hot body firefighter calendar tryout, and that was supposed to be on the Saturday before Mother's Day, and that was canceled because of Corona.
It was a hot body, like a calendar shoot?
It was a hot body. Yes, it was auditions.
Oh my God.
Yes, okay. I have the actual post from the
That's
venue.
Even funnier.
So when I heard,
disgusting.
I originally heard training, and then this came across my messages was this post, and I don't know if that's what he was attending, but I mean that was something that someone found that was going on in Denver. It was a hot body audition for the calendar. For the 2021 calendar.
Wow, good for him.
So I don't know. Did you get any confirmation from anyone either way of what he was doing, why he wasn't home?
It went from there that he wasn't in the firefighting or the hot calendar tryouts to him being in Denver on a construction site because he has several jobs. So, I mean, at the beginning, it went from him going to the hot body firefighter tryouts to it went there to him going on the construction sites. In the media,
so the story changed.
It did, even in the press. Yes. So that's frustrating. And that's a red flag right there for me. Because somebody's hiding something.
Yeah. So he was in town at work.
Supposedly. Allegedly.
That has not been reported in the media as far as I've seen.
Right. Now, from my information that I got, he was home the whole weekend. Things transpired at home with Suzanne. It got heated because she had stated she wanted a divorce, and he shot her in the house. And from what I understand, the police have known from day one that the house was a crime scene and that he was the prime suspect. But they're not saying anything.
So, okay, so my mind starts to kind of move in this direction where...
And I hate to say it like that.
Did the girls come home and see something really bad and then run to the neighbor?
I hope not.
Because I'm wondering if was the neighbor, and you see the photos on the screen, you guys. I have a slideshow going, and the older lady, that is the neighbor.
She's a 70-year-old lady that lives up the road, maybe 5 miles.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to get across everybody. Neighbors aren't like neighbors in a neighborhood. These these people are isolated.
Yes.
Or I mean, the girls could have came home to an empty house and mom and dad are not answering their phone. So we're going to go to the neighbor that knows my mom and
True.
see if,
Or the closest neighbor.
right.
That's true.
Or the closest neighbor. They haven't lived there that long. So
Right.
I don't know how quickly you would meet your neighbor 5 miles away in like a year.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's who
Absolutely.
knows how well they know them, but the girls, I have this like horrific thought that maybe when they got home, there was something that, they saw.
I have this thought in my
Because she was
heart
reported
that-
missing so quickly. She was
Right,
reported
right.
missing within an hour of them calling the authorities. But go ahead
Well,
with
see,
your
and
thought.
another thing
I think that the girls are scared, or they saw the tension from their dad, and that's why they don't live at home.
right.
Where does the younger daughter live?
With her boyfriend's parents, and her boyfriend is 16 or 17-year-old, which I think is very odd.
Oh, wow.
And the
Yeah.
20-year-old still lives at home, or
She's in
No,
college.
she's in college. Right, right.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, they obviously felt some type of tension to not call dad and say, "Where's mom?" Well, why wouldn't you be picking up your phone for your kids? I don't care where you are, even if you're out trying out for a damn, firefighter hot body calendar. You pick up your phone for your kids.
Yeah. And I imagine it being Mother's Day, they probably texted her,
Yes.
in the morning at least, or tried to call her or texted her and didn't get a response. And then by the time they got home and they're like, Mom's not here.
Yes.
Or they came into something worse than that. And we're going to get to the items that were found.
Well, I want to ask about this bike ride she went on.
Yes.
Was that ever confirmed she went on a bike ride? Did she tell somebody she was going on a bike ride?
No.
Or do you know anything about that?
I do. I know that somebody texted from her phone saying she's going on a bike ride.
And who did she text?
I guess the girls.
And they did find her bike, and it was propped against a tree.
I don't think she ever went on a bike ride. I think that was totally put there and texted to the kids.
Right. They said it was propped against a tree and the brakes were locked.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I've lived in Colorado. You don't go out with locked brakes.
Right. And I know they did say they did find personal items, and we're not saying anything.
Yeah, before we talk about that, I just want to let everybody know on the screen there is a picture in the slideshow of where the personal items were found. And then it shows where the home is. So, and it gives you
Yeah, because I don't think the personal items were found near the bike.
They were not. They were not. And I was under the impression that they were, but no. I saw this and I wanted to put this in there so everybody knew that the personal items were not found by her bike.
Right.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Oh no, I was just going to ask her if she knew of what personal items were found, if she heard anything.
And to my knowledge, the person had told me that there were 3 things that were found that were not around the bike. Her personal items were in another location, and that was her phone, her helmet, and there was a bloody blanket.
Now, say that again.
Her phone, a helmet, and a bloody blanket.
A bloody blanket?
Which is weird to me, but
it's very weird. If she went on a bike ride, why would there be a bloody blanket?
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, that's just somebody giving me some information. But you think about it, if you have too many people that are trying to get rid of some situation that's horrific, they're not thinking.
Sure. I mean, we know that from other cases we've followed,
They're not thinking. And if you have other people who are young, per se, and they're young, they're not knowledgeable, they're going to just do anything and they're not going to think about it. Okay. I mean, as you get older, you think a little bit better about things. I hate to say that, but it's true. That word young and dumb is kind of true.
But they are saying that these 3 items are linked to her.
Yes, that is correct.
They're not just random items like, oh, we don't know where this bloody blanket came from. These are the quote unquote personal items that they said were found, that they didn't disclose what they were.
That is correct.
Horrible.
Yeah.
So there was also mention of 2 other people.
That is correct.
So maybe they could have, if they were young, they could have helped move her, and, they were scared and frightened and left it and ran.
Exactly. From what I have gathered, it was one of Barry's employees, possibly 2 of his employees.
Mm.
And how did they know to go to that site to dig?
The information that I got was told to me saying that the woman whom he was having an affair with, this young girl that worked with him, had gone to the law enforcement office, interviewed them, they searched her home, and she kind of gave it up.
And now there's also another rumor too going around about her.
Okay. Whether that's true or not, I don't know because it's not verified. But I could see this. I could see this. I could see this panning out. I could see this happening.
So the rumor is supposed to be this mistress was or could possibly be pregnant.
I just want to say that from the supposed mistress, I did get a message from her.
Oh.
Yeah. We haven't talked again, but I'm waiting to hear back. Let's just say that.
Okay. She's not your friend.
I know. I don't know her. She messaged. She messaged that my J is for Justice page.
Oh, okay. So she reached out to you initially.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. She did. Crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Usually, guilty people do that.
Ooh.
Good.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was an odd message. It was a really odd message.
Because if I help with something like that, I'm not going to message anybody. I'm going to go in a hole and hide.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you never know. I mean, you never know. I mean, let's imagine. I mean, if this theory is true, that he had this mistress and this has happened and she's cooperating with authorities. I mean, I can't imagine that she's probably freaking out. If that's the case, So let's talk a little bit more. Go ahead, Melissa. We got a little off track there, but go ahead with what you were.
Well, no, I was just talking about, there's a rumor going around that the mistress could or was pregnant, and that could be a motive. But I mean, we're not going to put anybody's name out there. We don't know the mistress's name. We don't know if he had one.
Right.
It's just.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody putting any names in chat right now.
No, that's not fair.
Right. I was just going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't show her name yesterday either.
And let me tell you, these people who are going on Facebook and they're terrorizing, Barry's family, his mother, putting stuff on her page or their sister's page, how dare you? That woman has nothing to do with what her child has done.
Right.
And that woman is hurting right now. She's lost a daughter-in-law and a son. So, think about it before you put your words down. What if you were going through that?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's life is perfect.
I didn't understand they were being harassed, but I've seen it. It happens in every case, and it's awful because the family doesn't even live there.
No, they're not even around here.
Right.
Or around there. They're around here.
People do that, and I don't understand that. But yeah, thanks for saying that because I think that's important. Leave his family alone. Yes. They didn't do anything.
Exactly.
They would never think to harass, the girls or Suzanne's family. So why treat his family any different?
It's a tragedy all the way around.
See, and I was also thinking in my head too, like, we know he did a 20-second plea, but if that was my spouse or my significant other missing, I would be doing anything I could other than a 20-second plea. I would be going out doing search parties, going on the news all the time, putting up flyers. I mean, and
but
I just found that.
But you know what? You can play that twofold. Scott Peterson did all those things, right?
Yeah, that's true.
True.
I mean,
that's very true.
It's just so crazy because we can't really.
Well, he's still claiming he's innocent. So
True. Well, don't they all?
That's funny.
Except Charles Manson.
Yeah, right.
But what was the other question?
Andrew Peterson.
Andrew Peterson, yes. Love to talk to Drew Peterson.
But I mean, like normally, I mean, in any normal circumstance, you're going to stand with a sheriff's department and you're going to have a press conference and you're going to answer some questions, even if your lawyer is present.
Yeah, I think the whole reward thing was a little odd. How he ponied up $100,000 and then an unnamed source friend ponied up $100,000, but it wasn't done through the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department never said, hey, there's a $200,000 reward. They knew from the beginning. They weren't asking for help from the public. They weren't asking for any of that in the beginning. They didn't ask for help from the public.
That's odd to me. That's very odd.
It tells you that they know more than they're saying because they're not asking for those things.
Right.
We're asking the public, if anybody was in this area at this time on this date and you saw Suzanne on her bike, call the tip line. Of course, they're asking for tips, but they're not specifically asking for help. No search. All the searching was done by law enforcement. No volunteer searches. Not one.
Well, I think that's also because they know where to look. They knew.
Mm-hmm.
They know it all, and they're just not telling us. And that's what's so frustrating because when I put that stuff out there yesterday, make me look like an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's my own fault. That's my own fault, and I apologize for that. However, there are things that are put together that I know that are true, and it's all going to come out.
Mm-hmm. And I never doubted you for a minute, and that's why I made it clear you got this information secondhand. You're not an investigator on the case.
No,
you're not any of those things. I made it abundantly clear,
I appreciate that.
And I make it clear today. You don't have anything to apologize for. I really don't think you do. But I just applaud you for coming on because of all the backlash. I mean, I literally didn't even look at my phone today because of all of the comments that people are leaving on all my videos. Even ones I had to turn comments off because it was nasty.
Yeah, I didn't even really look at my phone this morning either.
I didn't either.
I'm exhausted.
I'm not going to read
where
it.
all those comments are coming from, though, huh?
But and that's and going back to that, it's like, okay, so you had this information before law enforcement can release. I mean, let's put it in perspective. We're looking at pictures on the screen, at least the people in chat are, and there's aerial videos or video shots of where they're cutting this actual slab, right?
Yeah.
And you can see they're narrowed in on one area. And I heard in a news, or I read in a news article yesterday that they're using a device that's kind of like a sonar, equal to a sonar used in water, where they can see a body, right? But they're using this X-ray type device that they can actually see through the concrete somehow. And that's where they've narrowed down and put that tent. Now, from what I understand, Barry was working on that job and he was there to lay dirt. Am I right?
Yeah, like the 2 days before Mother's Day.
Okay.
Yes.
2 days before Mother's Day, we have Barry at that job site laying down the topsoil or whatnot, whatever they put down for
their
the
slab.
for
Yeah.
the concrete guys to come in and pour that slab.
Mhm.
Does anyone know how thick a slab is for a
It's
home?
usually
They
from
got to
what
dig deep.
it's like 5 inches, I think, for a slab.
Okay.
I think you got to go 5 inches deep
So
with the
they got to go
concrete.
5 inches deep with
With
just the
concrete.
slab, right? And then
Yeah.
we have this, I don't know how deep the quote unquote basement. And that was one thing that I wanted to point out, was that your word was that he shot her in the basement, was what you heard. Now,
Yes, but from what I understand, there's no basement in her house.
right. So I wanted to clarify that, because that's one thing people have clung on to.
Do
There's
you
no
have that
basement.
picture? Do you have that picture?
Of what?
There's a picture of the basement, and you can clearly see that the windows are underground.
Oh, they have a basement at their house?
They do?
Yes, they do.
I thought they
do.
didn't.
They have a basement. Yes, they have a basement. It doesn't look like your typical basement. It looks more like,
Well, I
like
think
a family room.
If we look on Zillow, maybe it will tell us if it's a slab.
Then you might, she might they might have to walk
it.
down or like 2
It
steps.
could be a
into
walkout
window.
basement. It could be like a walkout, where that's like a bottom story, but it's not really a basement.
'Cause when you're living up in the mountains of Colorado, they're not going to dig for you a basement.
No. But you could have a walkout built into a hill.
Sure, you could.
Yeah, into a mountain. I mean,
or say maybe
it's
a laundry
lower,
room
yeah.
that steps down maybe 3 steps.
Here, I'm going to find that basement pic and send it to you.
Yeah,
so
it's a lower level walkout. Michelle said it's a lower level walkout. So
yeah, I think it's in the chat.
It could be called a basement. Okay. Someone might call it that, but obviously they're saying that it happened in the lower level of their home.
Well, yeah, you can see the windows are below, the underground. So that's considered a basement.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I get that. In Indiana and the Midwest and the South, it is a basement.
Yes.
But out there in the West is a little bit different.
Yeah, like in my basement, I have to look up the window to look, because it's it's underground.
We're in Tornado Alley, girl.
Yeah, I know you are.
Okay, so back to the scene here. So not only do they have to go through, all these inches of this concrete, right?
But on this garage slab that they're digging
deep? Yeah, how deep is this? Is the ground dug before they fill it in? For all the plumbing and whatever.
That's probably, when you say 8 feet.
I mean, I come from where there's basements, so I'm not really sure how they do the slabs, like how deep. Like I can picture a basement being dug, but I highly doubt they go that deep. But if you think about it, however deep they go before, laying down that top layer before the concrete, she could be at the very bottom of however deep they dug. They have to go all the way down there, and then they have to preserve all of that dirt for evidence.
And they're trying to preserve her body for evidence.
Absolutely.
Not hurt her body, period. Not cut into her body. And I know that sounds morbid.
Gruesome, but it's the truth. They don't.
Yeah, you got to be really, really careful with that, because, all of that's going to be presented during the case. They can't mess that body up. And I think that's why they're taking so long. They're treating it very gingerly.
They have to. Absolutely. Because I think their x-ray thing gives them probably a vicinity. Mm-hmm. But they have to be careful. They don't know what else is buried down there.
Right.
So, you see them
weren't they sifting through the evidence?
Yes, that's what I was saying. You see them with those big containers. Yeah, sifting everything. So, it makes sense. They don't want media frenzy. They don't want looky-loos.
Right.
They don't want any DWAPs out there with their phone and being annoying. They need to find Suzanne.
Right.
So I just sent you a picture.
That's my theory.
Of the basement that's off the Zillow, and that's their basement.
Yeah, I did. I got that. I'm trying to get it up here right now.
All I see is you two pretties girls.
Oh, come on, Angie. It's YouTube's 3 prettiest girls. You just don't have a picture up tonight.
Okay, thank you.
If there was not, I just read a comment in chat. If there was, they said if there was not a body, they would never, if there was a body, they would have never left yesterday. What do you think of that?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, it wasn't a question. It was more of a statement.
A statement?
Yeah.
What
If
did
there
you
was
say?
a body, they would have never left yesterday, in my opinion.
That is my opinion too. However, I do believe that they know that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I think what they're saying is if they knew there was a body under the concrete, under all that dirt, they would have never left for the day.
Returned.
But do you think that they would have stayed all night with lights until they got...
You would think so, but you know what? I mean, I don't know what their financial reasoning is, because you know how these cases are. Sometimes it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to use this equipment.
Well, there's got to be something there because the FBI is there. The FBI is at the site.
And that's pretty big. You know, we don't get much bigger than the FBI other than the Pentagon.
Right. And they put up the evidence tent, you know.
Oh, yeah, the tent. Yes, that's up.
But, you know, from what I understand, that tent was there just to keep the sun off of the police officers.
That could be. Yeah, the
And
FBI Evidence Response Team. That's the crew that's there. The FBI Evidence Response Team. And the pictures. I'm sorry. The pictures that are scrolling is the recovery or whatever they're going down there for. I just wanted to explain. Those pictures are they really tell a story.
Another thing, you know, like yesterday when they said that, you know, Barry was in custody. Okay, he was in custody. He was being questioned. He was in custody. That isn't anything that I like. But he wasn't processed and arrested. People need to understand the difference there. They can hold you and they can question you as long as they want. Until they arrest you, you're free to go when they say you can go.
No, I read he was with a quote unquote pastor. Do you know anything of a pastor? Like, is he religious or?
Good question.
I heard that as well. And I've never known him to be religious like that.
I saw a photo
of him reading the Bible with his children, and
it looked really staged. It looked like a staged photo. Like,
it's not very authentic and organic, is it?
I didn't look at it close. I personally didn't look at it close, but someone told me that the book he's reading is upside down. But I don't know if that's fact. I don't know.
I don't have a computer to look at it. My phone's too small, but I wouldn't be shocked by that. You know, let's get a picture with me, the Bible. Let's set this all up.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to me because, you know, this facade that people want to put upon, it's unrealistic.
And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. That's why it's called fake book.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what's going to happen on there. Everyone is going to dig. You know, now that coronavirus is going around, everyone's quarantined at home. They're going to sit there and dig and speculate. I mean, but that's what you do in a case anyways.
Right.
Whether it's confirmed by Ali or not, people are always going to talk, say stuff. I mean, you know.
Oh, God. It happens all the time.
The family is going to know before LE releases anything.
And that's correct. Like these people on these groups, chats.
They act like the family doesn't know.
Oh my God, I know. And the thing of it is that they need to know. They have to understand they need to know before anybody else knows.
I just pulled up the picture of the family room down there from the Zillow picture. A couple people sent it to me. But it does. Yeah, it's like a walkout.
Yeah.
But you can see the windows.
A daylight basement. I mean,
I guess
they call it a daylight basement somewhere out there, but we call them walkout basements.
We just say basement.
But so I just wanted to clarify that, Angie, because people were going on and on about the wording.
There's no basement in Colorado. How dare she say that?
Yes, she's lying.
Yes.
Blah
Oh
blah
my
blah.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Blah, blah.
I just wanted to clear all this up because I
appreciate that.
I didn't want you to have to come on here and say, you know what, I was wrong. I didn't want you to have to do that.
No, but I'm not even here to try to defend myself, because you know what? I stand behind the people who have told me what I've been told. However, it's not been confirmed by the police department. So there's a big thing right there, because people want that verification. They want that confirmation.
Yes, of course, it's not true unless it's confirmed by law enforcement, the news.
And I understand that, and I respect them for that, but that doesn't mean that I was making anything up or trying to be wrong. Just trying to show or tell what my knowledge is of this whole situation and my feeling and what my gut is telling me that's happening. And it's going to happen.
And that's why I didn't want to come on here and sugarcoat it. And I want it to stay real because I believe you. I'm
not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to hurt any of his family, her family, or even my classmates. I'm just trying to be real. The real thing is that something bad happened and we got to get to the end of it, and we're going to, and it's going to happen. And she deserves to come home.
Yes.
She absolutely does.
Those girls deserve that. And that's sad because the girls they're definitely going to lose their mother and their father.
So are you hearing that he is in custody now?
No, he's not, from what I understand.
He's actually staying with a fellow firefighter.
Ah.
I thought he was a police officer now. Is he a firefighter?
I think he was a volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
Yeah, his first name's George.
Yeah. We're not going to say anymore.
Yeah.
Can you ask, or I'm sorry, I'm reading the comment instead of asking. Where did your info come from? No names, but like the relationship of the people that are kind of giving these tidbits here and there. I know there's different people.
There's a person that lives in Colorado, actually 2 people that live in Colorado, and then another one that knows the people in Colorado that are friends with Suzanne.
Okay.
Friends in Colorado of Suzanne.
That's correct.
Yes.
Let's see.
Were you talking to any family members?
No, I have not.
Okay, have you talked to anybody but us?
No, I have not. Just only you.
Wow. Well, thank you for trusting me.
Well, thank you for understanding where I'm coming from, because that means a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, we made the disclaimer once. I'm not trying to be heartless here. Right.
I'm just trying to be real.
Well, and I mean, the bottom line is this is someone you knew your entire life since 2nd grade.
Yeah, and it's shocking.
Is real.
It's shocking.
Right. It's shocking. It's real.
But I know that, it's happening. And I know that, even the person that you look up to your whole life and think is just wonderful, done fucked up. And he fucked up big time.
Right. And this is something that in your town would never be forgotten.
That's right. And when everything comes out and is confirmed, this town's never going to be the same.
No, it won't. And you've done nothing wrong by just speaking truth as you know it. So.
And it also breaks my heart too that
I don't like hearing you cry either. Breaks my heart.
Knowing she beat cancer twice.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. What about that? Was that talked about? You guys have a Facebook group? for your classmates?
Yes, but I mean, that didn't start till,
Oh, after this?
yeah, I mean, no,
Oh.
it didn't start like back when Suzanne had her second bout with cancer. Maybe it was already started. You saw, tidbits here and there posted. But see, she didn't graduate with us.
Right. Now, do you know how he was towards her during treatments and going through cancer twice? Was he supportive?
Compassionate and kind. That's what's shocking.
We've heard that before too.
But I think money and having a narcissistic kind of personality and that ego, it kind of gets under your skin. And then having that burst of temper underneath that. And then when you're denied or somebody doesn't want to be with you after 32 years, that anger probably boiled up somehow.
And that's the story that you heard, is that she wanted a divorce.
That is correct.
I wonder if she had found out about a mistress. Do we know why she was asking for a divorce? Was it infidelity or?
I don't know.
No, we don't know. I know there's been a lot of rumors about that, so I don't want to put anything out there that.
Yeah, I mean, when your husband is being.
Sure, of course you do.
He's gonna go out and screw other women.
Yep.
You know this.
You do.
As a woman, and I'm sure that if there is one, there's more than one.
Yep.
And he's got that ego he needs to feed, and he likes that money. So he thought to himself, oh my gosh, she wants out and all this money, and I'm not paying her alimony. Let's get rid of her.
And he still has to pay child support because the daughter's 16.
That's true.
Well, one thing too that I thought was interesting was that when they moved from Indiana, they had like a $800,000, $900,000 house.
$865,000, and it's still for sale out here.
Oh, I thought it did not sell then. It's still for sale.
That is correct.
Okay, so they had a $800,000 house out there. They didn't sell it, and then they have this $1.5 million home in Colorado.
Yes.
And he owned a landscaping business that had 15 employees roughly.
Possibly, and that was only in Indiana.
I mean, he didn't have hundreds of employees. This wasn't a major landscape company that was contracted with every builder in the county. This is just a guy who had a small landscaping company that was successful, and he owns an almost $1 million home in Indiana.
Someone said in chat that the house sold. A dentist lives there.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I thought I heard it sold recently.
Okay, good.
But they did finally sell it. But to be able to purchase or build a home
when your other one hadn't even sold
in the
yet.
Mountains of Colorado, when you haven't sold that other one, I just wonder where they get the money for that. I did see some information that Suzanne has a charity in her name, but I couldn't find any information on like what she's raising money for, what the charity's for. So I don't know.
Was this a nonprofit organization that she had?
Correct.
I think it was for children. I'm not really sure, because her being a teacher, she was a middle school teacher for many years, and then she was a substitute teacher for preschool. So,
which is also strange. You have a teacher and a landscaper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being a business owner, yeah, I'm sure he did okay, but like with a business owner, you have so many taxes. You have all of your insurance. I mean, it's not always as lucrative as people think.
I mean, I can't even hardly handle it by myself as a single woman, in an apartment.
Right. And landscaping, I mean, I'm sure he made a good living, but it's not like you're going to be living in $1 million home.
Right.
So I feel like there's something to do with money and this nonprofit, because when you have a nonprofit, you're exempt from taxes. I feel that there's a lot of financial things that are going to come out. And that's just my speculation. Let me own that right now. That's my speculation.
And I 120% agree with you. That's going to come out, the money thing, and the fact that there's more than one mistress.
Oh, more than one?
I think so. I think so. Now, I could be wrong.
Well, I'm going to try to get a hold of this one who's messaged me and see if I can't get her come on and talk.
Well, clearly she said she's not the mistress. She just worked for him. So.
Oh.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to go too far past what Angie knows for this live. But I mean, Melissa, did you have any other questions that you wanted to ask?
Not that I can think of right now.
No, I think I've got all mine answered. And Angie.
Oh yes, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Did they have money problems back in Indiana? Because I know I asked you this, but I read that, I don't know if it was the police or someone was looking into him back when he lived in Indiana.
From what I understand, he has multiple jobs that happen here in Indiana, construction or landscaping jobs that are in the court system right now.
Like he's being sued civilly?
Correct.
Yeah, because I know he had to travel back to Indiana to deal with John.
Right.
I'm sure he loved that.
Yeah, well, I guess he just paid and made it go away, so.
Well, I mean, money buys you everything.
But I'm sure he was pissed he had to go out there for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he took a diversion on it. Let me pay you. We're going to make it go away. I'll do what you want me to do, and that's it. Money buys you whatever you can get. And I think with this whole situation, he thought that his money could buy him a way out of his wife being missing. It wouldn't be taken that seriously, honestly.
Now, do you know how many employees he had?
In Colorado?
Oh, in Colorado? She said about 15 in Indiana, like a smaller business, you know.
No, I'm talking about, since they're saying there's 2 other people involved that work with him. I wonder.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Colorado site because I'm not sure how big his business is out there.
Suzanne, yeah, someone just made a really good point in chat. Suzanne is a cancer survivor, but she is a 2-time cancer survivor.
That's correct.
Which makes it just all that more awful.
More heartbreaking.
Yeah, exactly it. So I don't really have, anything more other than, what we've gone over. I mean, the bloody blanket is very concerning.
Yes.
And the fact that, they're going to have to figure out where that blanket came from and if it matches something that's already in the home, like part of a set. I mean, they'll be able to tell if it came from the home. But...
what's crazy is I was zooming in on some pictures that I was looking at from the hunting trip when my friend from high school gone out to see Barry. And I was looking in their living room because they were out. He was taking pictures because they got this beautiful chandelier made out of, antlers, and his bucks are all hanging up on the wall. And I zoomed in on the mantle. You know how you would have pictures of your loved ones up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see any of him and his wife together on the mantle. I only saw the girls and the girls and their mom. None of those 2 together.
Huh.
No, I'm sorry. But if it was my mantle,
yeah.
I'd want to show off my husband.
Well, they have some really beautiful pictures together too.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to show that off? I would show it off.
It's a lot of red flags altogether, I think.
And the thing of it is we have to, as people, we need to zoom into the details. Pay attention to the details, people. Pay attention. Pay attention to the fact that those girls weren't living there. There was a red flag there. Your 16-year-old's not living with you in this beautiful home.
Yeah, and it looked like
Yeah,
she
I
was
find
super
that
close
odd.
with her girls too.
Yes, I mean, that's a whole red flag. There's something eerie about
It makes me sad because regardless, from what the info you've received is that she's deceased and she's possibly in that lab.
I would hope that she's not, but my gut tells me that she's not coming back
Something's
alive.
there. Something's
She's
there.
not coming back alive. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm just being realistic. Like I said, when he made that plea, that 26-second plea with his money, telling Suzanne anything that he can do to get you back, I thought there's something really bad wrong here. And I knew at that point that he did something. I knew it when I first saw this article, but then that really verified it when I saw his face. And I was waiting for that face to show
What
up on TV.
exactly, like if you walk me through that 20-second video, what exactly to you, if you could pinpoint things in that video that stood out as necessarily odd? I mean, can you think of anything off the top of your head that you were like, he
I
said
think
this
it's
or
when
he...
his first opening statement. Oh, Suzanne.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that like was like, oh, Suzanne. What do you mean, oh, Suzanne? Like she did something wrong? Oh, Suzanne.
Right. Like, oh, Suzanne. I'm like, why did
Yeah.
you make this
You know,
happen? Like, yeah.
that set me off at the very beginning.
Yep.
And I was like, this ain't right. And then when anything you ask, anything to get you back.
And he's almost acting like he knows it was a kidnapping. Like he thinks it's a kidnapping.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah, he wasn't open to any other kind of
Right.
theory. It was like he knew it was happening. How much ever they want, you can have it.
Yeah.
We're offering
For your safe
200,000.
return. Your daughters need you, and I need you. It was just very disingenuous.
Well,
At the
another
very
thing too, Angie, I wanted to ask you if you knew anything about was
Sure.
okay. So Trevor is her nephew,
Mhm.
and he lives there in Indiana, correct?
It's from what I understand, he lives in Colorado. Now.
Oh, but he's
And
from
it's
Indiana.
actually not. It's not her nephew. It's his nephew. Her nephew through marriage.
Oh, I thought that was her sibling's child. That's his
I
brother or
think
sister.
I think it's one of his. Oh God, and I could be wrong. But I think it is one of his siblings' kid, one of his sister's children. I was trying to look that up before this all happened, but I didn't get a chance to.
Well, he only has two sisters, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I think Suzanne has.
Okay, so Trevor, well, regardless, it's her nephew either by marriage or.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So Trevor sounds like he's very close to his aunt. He's very upset. Mm-hmm. He's the spokesperson. He's the one talking to the media, giving updates. He, he's the family spokesperson throughout this whole mess. And he started a GoFundMe for, it said for, search efforts. And I think it was specified that he used it for, travel for family in Indiana to go back and forth and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Now, what caught my attention was when Barry came out and said, hey, we've got 200 grand up here. Why was Trevor having to start a GoFundMe to help the family travel to come help? That's that kind of, to me, I was like, that's weird. I was thinking, well, are Trevor and Barry not speaking? Or, that was just kind of what went on in my head about that. I could be, completely off, but I just thought it was kind of
why
odd.
wouldn't Barry put up that money if he has all this money to put up?
Correct.
Right.
Why wouldn't you fly your family out there and say, here's a hotel, take what you got to get. I get you a hotel room. I need your support. Period.
And then after Barry's video came out on the page, Find Suzanne page, there's been no action, no postings, no updates, nothing.
Nothing since then.
It's quiet, completely silent. So there's just a lot of things that going on here at once. And I think that, we really need to take a step back and not get so personal and look at this from a standpoint where, like, we look at every case that we follow as true crime followers, as true crime fanatics, some of us. But Angie, you're part of what makes my channel is, people who know the people involved or, have heard things from friends and things like that. And walking through and dissecting a case step by step live is just an amazing thing to be able to do. And I want to thank you for, allowing me to talk to you about what you knew.
I appreciate the opportunity, and regardless of what, he's done or whatever, like, I feel like Barry needs a big hug and to say, what, it's going to be okay, but just bring her home. Cooperate and bring her home. Enough of this bullshit. Just bring her home.
Yep, agree.
It's frustrating because, we have all these little pieces that have gone to this puzzle and they can't be closed yet, or it can't be put together all the way. There's that one piece that's missing, and that's probably her full body right now. And I understand that the police are protecting it all, but I can't wait for this to be done so that my mind can be settled a little bit more.
I mean, this could be why they're being so tight-lipped about everything. All I got to say is that, like I said in the beginning, we are not law enforcement. We're not saying this is fact. We're saying this is pretty much the closest you're going to get
Scenario.
to what happened.
Right.
Piecing it all together. And that's what we do.
That's what we got to do.
That's what we have to do. So thank you, Angie. Melissa
Thank
B,
you.
I want to give you another opportunity. You got anything any questions you saw in chat that I know you're always the chat reader, so you catch some pretty good questions.
I don't have any questions myself. I mean, if anyone in chat has questions, I'll read them.
I've kind of been glancing, and people have given me a lot of talking points. Just there was a girl in here, her name was Rachel Clark, and I want to give her props. She had some awesome questions. So thank you, Angie, for being so candid and open. There's one thing to be said for, when you record a video and you can chop it and do whatever you want to it. But when you go on a live stream, there's no going back, and I want to thank you for trusting me.
I can't go back and take back the fact that I was screaming at the 42-year-old kid.
No, you really can't. But you know what? You're real. That's what makes you real. Everybody's real. We're under a lockdown. We're all going crazy here. So
someone wants to know, what is the news saying in Indiana?
Good question.
The same as it is over in Colorado. There's no new news. The police are still looking for Miss Morphew. They haven't said anything about him being in custody. They're not saying anything about nothing really. They're saying the same thing that they're saying on your news station, and it's only hitting every once in a while. It was hitting every day for a while. But they're saying basically that the search is still on. And there's no new news.
Is the town buzzing or no?
I think they're all in denial.
Yeah, this is kind of their hometown hero. This guy's their hometown hero.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Go ahead.
There was a vigil for her, right? I think in Alexandria.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Did you attend that?
Do what?
Did you attend the vigil?
Did they have one?
Yeah.
When? I attended the prayer service.
A prayer service. That's what it was. I thought prayer service. not a
Vigil, tomato,
Vigil.
tomato.
That was on the 14th?
I believe so.
Yeah, I attended that, yes.
Okay, was Barry there?
No, it was over the no. He was not.
Oh, it was
not
streaming. It was streaming.
It was streaming, yes. I did not see him streaming. He did not attend.
Someone asked earlier too, way back, did Barry and Suzanne sell trees on their property in Indiana?
They could have. They had a lot of land up there.
Oh, if they had a tree farm and he was into commercial landscaping, then they could have made a really
Pretty
good
big
amount.
amount, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you
absolutely.
get into commercial stuff like that, and he's a designer.
Yeah, absolutely. He probably could have. And then that could be where some of his money is coming from.
True. It very well could.
Yeah. Because that takes a special person to do that and not kill him.
Those are big jobs. Those are huge
Absolutely.
jobs.
Yeah. And it takes a special horticulture type of background.
Sure.
You just can't go.
Sorry, go
Barry
ahead.
doesn't have his phone either, correct? They took it, right?
Yes, they did. They took it.
And his car too, or just his phone?
Yeah, his Jeep and his phone.
What
Or
about
in
her
custody.
car? What about her car?
Oh, I'm sure it's in custody too.
Yeah, but they for sure have his.
Yeah, I'm sure that everything in that house,
Yeah.
they probably have not even let him back in since Mother's Day, from what I understand. They might have let him in, but they might have gone through and done their evidence. They might have walked with him to get a few personal things to take out.
I have no doubt that house was cordoned off from the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
Before he even got home.
Absolutely.
Wow. I can't wait to see body cam of that.
And I noted, does he like put a little bit of Frosted Tips, a little highlights?
Oh my God.
You know what I think so? No, Melissa.
You are too much.
No, I mean, I understand the question. I mean,
He's a
I've been
pretty
staring at
guy.
that since second grade.
He's a pretty boy.
He is a pretty boy, let me tell you. But I think what that is it's white hair. His mother is white, like a gray, or when you get older, you have white that comes through rather than gray. I think it's white coming through on his blonde hair, and it's just distinguished. It looks like he's highlighted his hair between that and the sun.
He knows he's good looking and he knows it.
Absolutely. He's known that his whole life.
And I'm sure she's had to deal with a lot of, issues.
Women throwing their numbers at her or whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, imagine if he has a woman that's working for him, that's 20 some years old, 28.
Mm.
That girl, I'm sorry, but at that age, you know how to work it.
And I think, wasn't she working from
Angie
the
says
home
you know how to
office?
work it.
You do. You know how to work what you want.
Wasn't she
And,
working from the home office as well?
I think so. So if you have that walking in every day and he's got money and she's single, mom or whatever, alone, it's going to be appealing to her to think about the money and the looks and, oh, well, I'll give him what he wants. Maybe he'll give me what I want. I can see how that could progress into something a little bit bigger. Just saying.
Hmm.
Women are manipulative and we know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think that, when you have someone, and I'm not saying he's like this because I don't know him, but if you have someone who at his age is decent looking and has taken care of himself and he's catching the attention of, a 20-something or 20-something girls,
Definitely stroking his ego.
Yeah, I mean, men are men, and they're gonna jump for it if they have the opportunity, and if there's already problems, at home or things are stale at home. Unfortunately, it happens all the time.
At first, I kind of thought this was like an Ozark series. Like he moved to Colorado to launder money for the cartel.
Melissa B, are you kidding me right now?
Huh?
Melissa B's been watching way too much Netflix during Corona.
He's moving the heroin across the Ozarks and the Arkansas River. I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody even said online yesterday that, is he into cannabis? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I think they were saying like growing maybe.
Well, I mean, good for him. But he could be. He's a horticultural person.
Right.
I mean, I just like after seeing the house, it's so secluded away from everybody. It looks like it's in the Ozark.
He'd be in the perfect place to grow. He'd be in the perfect place to grow, though.
Yeah, but I mean it's legal. It's legal there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 100% legal there. But I think they're saying, as far as like trying to figure out where his money comes from. If he was actually a grower in Colorado, he would definitely have that kind of money and then some. But I think maybe that's what they were trying to figure out because of the tree farm.
Maybe he invested in that before he even went to Colorado, and he invested into some type of cropping. You never know.
You never know. He could have gotten his money working. He could have gotten it from an inheritance. You just never know.
Laundering money.
I mean, anything's possible. But yeah, the marijuana is big money in Colorado. And if he had a tree farm, why wouldn't you have a marijuana farm? I would do it.
Right. I would want one.
If you knew how to do it.
Right.
Who knows? But anyway, I'm gonna let you go.
We don't need critical thinking and drones,
No.
Right.
We definitely don't need anything.
Well, hopefully nobody's bad mouthing me online.
Well, you know what, Angie, don't read it.
I don't even care if
Just don't even read it because they're going to. I'm going to preface this by telling you, you're going to get bashed. You're going to get horrible comments from people. And some of them you might want to click reply and just tell them off. And some of them you might want to just not even read.
I'm not even going to respond to anybody.
Yep. The best way to do it. It's not worth it.
Ignore it.
It's my opinion. It's my facts. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, there you go. There you go. And you know what? I gave you a platform to talk about your story. So
thank you. I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you as well. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. You guys have a good one, okay?
You too, Angie. Thank you.
Bye, honey. Bye.
Hey, thanks, Melissa.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, we have 1,300 people in here. I don't know what we got up to, but that is amazing.
Is that good?
Yeah.
See, like I said, we don't need critical thinking or drones to do this.
Well, yeah. So anyways, I want to thank all the new members that decided to take the plunge to be able to chat tonight. And everybody was respectful. I didn't see any problems. Thank you so much, you guys. And thanks again, Angie. And thanks, Melissa, for joining me.
Thank you, Jay.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Night.